Hey, Mr. Wiedemer here for Mr. Wiedemer's History. Today we're talking about 9.2, Hoover's policies during the Great Depression. You guys will be able to describe the government's involvement early on in the Depression by analyzing Herbert Hoover's policies. Alright, so last time we kind of talked about the gains of the Great Depression. Alright, today we're going to talk about what Hoover did with the Great Depression. Alright, concerns loom. Hoover was blamed for the Depression. Of course, the guy in charge, the president, he's a scapegoat. And so if something bad happens, you're going to blame the president. You know, it is always the case. No matter who the president is, they get blamed for whatever ills go on in society. So Congress was inflexible, and Hoover lacked practical political experience to deal with it. Republicans took over in midterm elections. This didn't help either. And the most common belief from Republicans was, the economy will recover on its own. Just let it be. It'll recover. It's just a temporary problem. And I mean, Hoover tried to stress this throughout the American people. It's a temporary problem. It's no big deal. The economy will fix itself. Things will get better. Alright? And so American people was like, I want to get better. You know, and Hoover's like, it will. Just wait. And so Hoover was unable to control Congress on the tariff issue. You know, remember we had high tariffs, so we have high tariffs, so other countries have high tariffs. No one wins. And so what does Congress do? They can make a larger tariff than the 14 McCumber Act. We'll have the Hodley Smoot tariff, which creates the largest tariff in peacetime history. So you combat, we need high tariffs. I know. Let's make tariffs higher. That'll solve the problem. Wrong-o. Right? And many urged the president to veto the bill. The president's kind of scared of being isolated by his party, and plus his tariff commission that he created was on board with this bill, so he really had no choice but to pass the bill, even though it was not good for America. You know, he was looking out for himself here. Right? Foreign trade with the U.S. dropped dramatically. You know, we have high tariffs, they have high tariffs. You know, we're in a depression, they're in a depression. People just aren't trading goods, and so that's going to hurt American manufacturers and hurt American farmers. Alright? And as you can see here, American farmers were hurt even harder. And there was a massive surplus of goods because of new technology, and farmers just kept getting more and more goods. Prices kept getting lower. We've talked about that a little bit. Alright, Hoover's strong resolve. Hoover feared that direct government handouts would destroy personal initiative and create a society that depended on the government. And Hoover did not want that. Alright, so the government's not going to give people money. Alright, he subscribed to the trickle-down economic theory of Harding, where we'll pump money up at the top, and eventually that will trickle down and help out individual citizens. Okay, trickle-down economic theory, and Hoover's going to subscribe to that. Alright, he thought that this would help. He's going to give money to banks, government, but not individuals. Alright, Hoover says 90% of our difficulty in depression is caused by fear. He says, you know, if we don't fear it, if we mentally can overcome this, we can do this. We can prevail through the Great Depression. Alright, so Congress is going to create the Reconstruction Finance Corporation, the RFC, one of the first of many so-called alphabet soup of the New Deal that Roosevelt will have. This is kind of the first government corporation that's going to come in, be created to help solve problems caused by the Great Depression. And they made loans to railroads, insurance companies, banks, state and local governments, but once again, not individuals. We don't want society dependent on the government. Alright, Hoover feared that, because, you know, that would become the case if we just gave money to people. The whole adage, you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. You teach a man how to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. Right? Products such as toll bridges and dams to produce electricity were favored. Anything to help produce electricity, especially in places like in the Tennessee Valley. Alright, we create the TVA to help that out. The Hoover Dam. Oh, there we go. In Nevada, named after Hoover. Alright, who commissioned the dam to be built to create electricity out west. Alright, so a lot of our infrastructure that we still have today was created in the Great Depression. And so it's pretty old and crumbling, but today's standards and needs fixed. Is one of the main problems today is the crumbling infrastructure. But during the Great Depression, we're going to build a lot of stuff. We're going to get people to work. Okay, primarily with Roosevelt's New Deal, but a lot of stuff that Roosevelt did started during Hoover's presidency. Hoover's going to kind of jumpstart this initiative, getting the government involved. All right, and then Roosevelt comes in and just takes it to the moon and superfies the government. He did not want government to get too involved. He feared socialism, which many claimed that Roosevelt will later create. He did not help unemployment. That was just running rampant. Alright, and so Hoover's policies did not do very well. Alright, hence is why we named a lot of stuff after them, like Hoovervilles or Shantytowns, Hoover blankets, newspapers, Hoover flags, where you put your pockets out, signify I'm broke. So he gets blamed for a lot. Of course, he's a president, so it comes with the territory. If you're president, you got to bear the brunt of, whatever issues going on today. You see in the news with Barack Obama, all the main issues today, let's pin it on the president. When Bush was president, same thing, let's pin it on the president. When Clinton was president, same thing, pin it on the president. And it just goes on and on and on. That's part of the job of being president, is to get blamed for whatever happens in society. Some things you have control over, and but some things just inevitable and just happen. You have no control over, but you still get blamed for it. And Hoover was one of them. He was, the wrong place at the wrong time. Alright, so Hoover strongly favored disarmament, okay? So we're going to look foreignly. Desired world peace. Remember, after World War I, the Kellogg-Briand Pact, we need to hunker down, end war. We had the Washington conferences to end war. No more war. Okay, Hoover wanted to improve relations with Latin America. And the Clark Memorandum, under Hoover, effectively ends the Monroe Doctrine. That says, we'll stay out of your affairs, Europe, and you stay out of our affairs. Kind of World War I kind of ended that when we got involved in European affairs. But the Clark Memorandum is really, this ends the Monroe Doctrine. Alright, Hoover strongly favored disarmament. Alright, remember the naval conferences? They fixed everything. Things were getting better, so we thought. Okay, Hitler rose to power in Germany. The Nazis are coming. Okay, the Weimar Republic is in a horrible condition. Germany's in worse shape than the United States. And it's going to breed, this new type of person, this leader is going to come up and save the day. And Hitler's that person. Alright, and then Japan, they're increasing their power. And they're going to invade China, which just violates all sorts of treaties. Alright, but 1931, Germany was in severe depression. Like I said, it's worse than the United States. Heavy war debts and rising unemployment led to the rise of the Nazi Party in Germany, which we'll talk about next unit of World War II, and all their madness. Alright, so, but we're going to help out. Moratorium. We want to spend for 1 year all war debt payments to the U.S., okay? Alright, we're going to help out the rest of the world here. Even though we could use the money, if it's not going to help if the rest of the world's in a Great Depression as well. Germany, like I said, was in a worse depression than the United States, and the world was going that way. And so we're going to create a moratorium to help curtail some of this. Okay? Hoover wanted to protect the U.S. interest in Germany. He wanted to protect the Democratic Republic in Germany. Okay, that was a chief authority, but it's not going to happen because the Democratic in Germany failed. Alright, they're going to look to someone to lead them to the promised land, and that someone will be Adolf Hitler. Alright, Hoover-Stimson Doctrine. Alright, Japan, the naval conferences, not going to stop Japan from going all crazy. Alright, they're going to seize power. They're power hungry. Alright, so Japan's going to seize Manchuria. There's a direct violation of the Nine Power Treaty. It says, China's sovereign. Japan, you cannot have China. Okay, it's an open door. But Japan, being hungry, alright, for power in the Pacific, they're going to grab China and take Manchuria. Alright, it's also against the Kellogg-Briand Pact and against the League of Nations. Like I said, all kinds of treaties Japan's just violating here. They're wanting more power, this really helps lead into World War II. Many people said that Japan's invasion of Manchuria was this is what kind of began World War II in a way. Because, war is going to happen. War things are bad in the world. How to fix it? Go to war. So doctrine was designed to enlist world opinion against aggression. Shame on you, Japan, for violating this Calibre Pact. We had peace for many years. All right, we do not want another world war. We do not want another war. Of course, they didn't call it World War back then, but Congress passed the bill to give the Philippines independence. Kept up with that a little earlier on when we talked about imperialism and all the happenings in the Philippines and all that stuff. We're finally going to give the Philippines independence within 10 years of this. So Hoover's going to grant the Philippines independence. And as you see, here's Manchuria, part of China. Japan here wants to expand off their tiny island, and so they're going to go and claim Manchuria for themselves. And China really had, no way to protect it. Japan, huge military power and growing and growing and growing, going to take Manchuria, and Japan just keeps growing threat. Alright, lesson review. Hoover didn't handle the Great Depression very well. He refused to give handouts to individuals. Instead, he practiced trickle-down economics. Didn't work very well. Raised tariffs to new highs. Again, doesn't work very well. If no one's buying our stuff, and we're not buying anything else, high tariffs don't work. Congress established Reconstruction Finance Corporation. We're going to build dams and bridges, the Hoover Dam. Gave loans to corporations and state and local government, trying to jumpstart this thing, trying to get the Depression. Many Republicans are like, it'll fix itself. Clark moratorium, memorandum, moratorium, that's the lessening of the loans. The memorandum basically ended the Monroe Doctrine in Latin America, and Hitler rose to power. Germany and Japan continued to expand. All is going to lead into World War II. Alright, there are my sources. Until next time, study history.